Hey guys, my name is Ryan.
And my name is Miska.
And welcome to Overwatch Central. So we thought we'd do a sort of bit of a recap of the stuff that basically isn't Sombra. There was a lot of information that sort of came out with future plans of what's going to happen at the end of this year, at the start of 2017. And the main one that has caught us by surprise and kind of excited about as well is the arcade. Now, Miska, for those that don't know, what is the arcade, what do they want to do with it, and what's going to happen to Brawls?
So the arcade basically replaces the sort of fun and silly part of Overwatch, and not the very competitive game that it is at its core. So it tries to be not take itself too seriously, and present a lot of different game modes. Is their solution to what they said when people wanted a lot of game modes, different ways to play them, and yeah, basically they didn't want to put anything very specific in and just hope that it would work. So they just put the arcade in, which allows for quite a few different game modes. It's kind of like taking a custom game to some degree and just going crazy with the rules. Not too serious, but still a lot of fun. There's quite a few different modes that they've announced sort of already around it, and they're planning on working on it over time to add more game modes and different twists to those same game modes. And there's even a new map for all of this as well. So far it's looking pretty good. Maybe we'll get more arcade maps in the future, but for now we have one, and it's called Ecopoint Antarctica. We'll get into that more later, but for now we're gonna talk a little bit about these actual modes and sort of go into detail about them a little bit.
So the two main game modes that will be taking place on this new map, the first one is the Mystery Hero 1 vs 1, which is interesting in itself. So for example, it might be me versus Miska, and it's sort of a elimination round based game mode. And both of us will get the same hero. So for example, round 1 might be Lucio, second round would be D.Va versus D.Va, and that sort of thing. It's really good at improving on the wide scope of heroes that are in the game. And the second one, for those that sort of like WoW Arena, it's 3v3 elimination, and I think there's a hero limit on it, so you're sort of making a very small team, sort of get your friends involved and play up against other people in the brawl. Now this all takes place on this new map, which is Echopoint Antarctica, which is based around a little bit of Maze Lore. This is where she was set up, where she cryo froze herself for near on a decade.
Most importantly though, it's made for 3v3, 2v2 and 1v1 type of game mode. So it's a very tight map, it's pretty small, and it's just it's balanced around the arcade, which is, the arcade contains all of these game modes, and then the brawls are kind of like separate to that. But it's very sort of, from what we've seen, the map looks really nice, and there are some very sort of different areas, and so I don't know if when you do a 1v1 if it will be like shut off, if any sections will just be completely shut off to make it even smaller. But either way, it's exciting to just have a new map to work with, and apparently there is supposed to be, like I said, some sort of Mei lore on there as well, which I guess makes a lot of sense because we don't know much about Mei really, and this is one of the stations that she worked on and the one that she was cryo frozen on for over a decade. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, so amongst the other two game modes is a no limit game mode, which of course is similar to what Quick Play was. Now Quick Play has a hero limit in it, which is interesting. It's something that we've talked about a little bit and understand both sides of the arguments in terms of what people would want to see in Quick Play. It's good to have its own sort of game mode here in the arcade. And the other one as well is a playlist of a lot of the older brawls, and most people have kind of asked what is going to happen to brawls now. Are they like obsolete? Are they getting rid of them? But this is how they're going about it, Miska, right?
Yeah, so what we have now is basically the arcade, which has 4 options. The first 3 are the ones we talked about. It's 3v3 elimination, 1v1 mystery hero, and of course no limits. Now the 4th one is the brawl playlist. So they're just throwing all of them into one playlist. You'll get a random map and a random mode, or like brawl, whatever you want to call it, and then you'll just play that. Next game on a new map or whatever will be a different brawl. And they've thrown all of those brawls into there, and also some new ones. So one of them was a sort of Lucio and Reinhardt only that I think they're calling Charge, they said. And then I believe there was another one that's just on the Well map with just Lucio and Roadhog. So it's on Ilios Well, and it's just Lucio and Roadhog. So that's some stuff that are coming up. We heard about on the panel about what's new and about the arcade in particular. We're looking pretty good in terms of like having a lot of different ways to play the game, and a lot of different ways to sort of either just improve, blow off some steam, or 1v1 someone essentially, or just to play the silly brawls again, and all of that's gonna be, in the game all at once, which is pretty sweet because this means that we basically have like loads of new game modes all of a sudden, and loads of new ways to play the game if you don't want to play competitive or the new type of quick play.
So the good thing about having 4 game modes in the arcade is that if one, for example, isn't sort of a little bit quieter than another, Blizzard could swap some of them out and put new ones in without it being really sort of clunky. They can listen to the audience and the community in terms of what kind of game modes that they would like to see in the arcade. In terms of the seasonal events, we've been told that this is where we expect to see them. Whether we see any old ones, we don't know. Nothing's been said about that. But if there is like a Christmas one, for example, this is the place that we're going to see it. So it's a nice little spot to have all of these different game modes and to have that fun side of Overwatch, which I think a lot of people maybe felt that they had lost when competitive play came around.
Yeah, I think as well with, the new quick play having a hero limit on it kind of makes it a sort of normal play and a ranked play, and then the arcade is a good place to just gather all of that, well, everything that's not that, essentially, to have a bit of fun with, for the community to, have a bit of impact on as well with the popularity rankings and everything. And it's a good place to experiment as well, because that's what the Brawls was for a start. It was just an experiment to see what they could do with other game modes. And I think this is a great way of solving the whole, we don't have enough game modes in Overwatch sort of idea, because now you can jump into this if you don't really care about, rank, or you don't really want to learn that aspect of the game today. And it also gives you another chance to compete against friends in a more sort of, I guess, fun and a little bit more casual environment with the whole 1v1s and all that. And maybe they will even have a leaderboard for that sort of stuff. I don't think they actually talked about that in particular, but I think that could be really cool, because that means that you have another sort of aspect of the game to compete in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is also worth adding that we couldn't actually capture any gameplay at BlizzCon of this, because we couldn't even play the arcade.
Nothing
at
was
BlizzCon.
there, yeah.
We didn't have the arcade, and we didn't have Oasis either. It was just Sombra. And yeah, unfortunately no gameplay, but in 2 days you will all be able to play this on the PTR. If you want to, we'll make some videos of us playing maybe the 1v1 against each other, maybe the 3v3 against someone else, or maybe with, pull in some sort of guests for that and then do it 3v3 against randoms. But yeah, we're looking forward to it, and we'll see exactly what happens with all of that. Either way, it should have the same sort of impact to the game that the progression system had, which basically adds another layer to the whole game, adds longevity, and makes it, just a little bit more sort of, kind of caters for more people, right? And yeah, looking forward to it. I'm super excited about Arcade, and also about the map that it brings, Echopoint, Antarctica.
Well, that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. Do let us know if you're excited to see the arcade, and also what kind of game modes would you like to see in the arcade. There's a lot more freedom in sense of what we might see with new maps and stuff like that, so do let us know in the comments below. We'll be back on Tuesday to stream the PTR with Sombra and the arcade, hopefully. So until next time, take care. We'll see you then.